Hello children, this is Maniksha going to present to you a videos lectures, and the topic is the idea of Satyagraha. My dear children, in my previous videos lectures already we had learned in details the factors which led to the nationalism movements in India. So we have learned in details how the First World War, which helped in the process of nationalism movement in India. So dear children, we understood that during the First World War or during the World War I, we see that the World War I created lot of political as well as economical devastations in all over the nations, and it affected the Indian society also, because it is the colonial country who is facing lot of difficulties during the time of World War I, because the Great Britain, who is participating in the World War I, and the colonial peoples were very busy in the involvement of the World War I. And during that time, the Indian societies were having very hard time. There was economic devastations, there was epidemic, there was great shortage of food, there was crops failures. During those period of time, the Britishers are coming to India and they are trying to recover the losses whatever they were having during the World War I. So when they are trying to recover by implementing the tax systems in the society, by implementing the custom duties, by raising the income tax. So during the epidemic time, during the crops failure, during the shortage of food, it is a real struggles for the peoples of Indian society to pay back the taxes to the government, because there is epidemic, there is difficulties, there is hardships, there is crop failure. In the midst of everything, they are coming and raising taxes and implementing new tax systems in the society, which really caused widespread anger among the Indian society. And during those times, we see the oppressive ideology of the Britisher. So in such great difficult time, the Indian societies were looking for a great leader who will guide them, will support them to fight against the oppressor. So it is the oppressive ideas which was suppressing and oppressing the Indian society. So during those difficult times, my dear children, the Indian societies were needing a great personality, and during that time we see the Mahatma Gandhi, who is coming to India in January 1915. So here Mahatma Gandhi was having a very successful resist movement in South Africa. He fought for the peoples with having the mass agitations, and he came to India. And when he came to India, he is traveling all around the nations, trying to understand the ground reality, trying to understand the difficulties of the peoples. So before he begins his movements, he is understanding the real cause, as well as he is trying to search out the reality in the Indian society. And after coming to understand the reality in the Indian society, the Gandhiji is having the idea to start the Satyagraha movements. So what do you understand by Satyagraha? Satyagraha means it is emphasizing the power of truth. So it is emphasizing the power of truth, and we need to search for the truth. And if the cause is true, then there is no need to have any kind of physical forces. So here Gandhiji is convincing the people, inspiring the peoples, saying the peoples that if the struggles is against the truth, then there is no need to have any kind of physical forces. So here the peoples are facing real struggles here. And what is the struggles? The struggle was against injustice. The struggles was against truth. And that is why he is convincing the peoples that if the struggles is against the truth as well as against injustice, then we need not have to have the physical forces. The physical forces is not at all required here. Why? Because we are fighting for the truth, and when we are fighting for the truth, we need not have to have the physical forces. And yet, without vengeance, without doing any kind of revenge to the Britishers, we need to fight against the truth. So, in order to fight against the truth, we need not have to have the violent movement. Without violent movements, we can win over the struggles. Why we can win over the struggles? Because it is through non-violent movements we can unite the peoples together, we can fight against the truth, we can fight against injustice. That is why the physical forces is not required here. So Gandhiji is inspiring peoples that we need not have to be very violent. Why? Because we are struggling against injustice. That is why the physical forces is not at all required here. So dear children, here Mahatma Gandhi believed that only through the dharma of non-violent movement it will unite all the Indians to fight against the oppression. And without having any kind of revenge attitude, the peoples will successfully win over the battle. And that is the reasons Mahatma Gandhi, who was inspiring all Indians to start the non-violent movement against the Britisher. So further, in order to have the successful of the Satyagraha movements, dear children, Gandhiji is traveling to many parts of India, that is such as he is traveling to Champaran in Bihar to organize the oppressive plantation system. So dear children, here in 1916, Gandhiji is going to Champaran in Bihar, understanding the difficulties of the peasants who are working in plantations, and he understood that the peasants were forcefully asked to grow the indigo cultivations without being paid the payments, and they were not at all allowed to grow any kind of food grains. So this is the struggles, this is the injustice which are faced by the peoples of Champaran in Bihar. It is the peasants who are facing great difficulties. So dear children, here without payments, how a farmer will work, and they are not at all allowed to grow any kind of food grains. That is one kind of injustice which Gandhiji understood, which are happening to the peoples of Champaran in Bihar, and he organized successfully the Satyagraha movements in Champaran in Bihar, because he supported the peasants, he supported them so that whatever injustices are happening against them, peoples will have justice in the society. Peoples will have justice from British rule. In order to get those justice, he is siding with the peasants in Champaran of Bihar. and further he is going to the Kheda district of Gujarat. And when he is going to the Kheda district of Gujarat, he is understanding the ground reality of the peoples, and he came to understand that the peoples of Gujarat or the Kheda district peasants were facing lot of challenges. And what was the challenges? Because the challenges is continued in 1914 to 18. We see the crop failures which heated the Indian society, and we see that during the crop failure as well as the epidemic situations, here the peasants are not able to pay the revenue. So here the peasants are demanding continuously to the government to relax them the paying of revenue. So see, it is a very natural things, because there is an epidemic, there is shortage of food, there is crop failure. In the midst of all difficulties, how a peasants or how the farmer will be able to pay back the revenue? It's a very difficult thing which the peasants were facing in the Kheda district of Gujarat. So he sided with the peoples who are living in Kheda district of Gujarat, and he successfully organized the Satyagraha movements in the Kheda district of Gujarat. And he supported the peasants to get relaxations from the revenue, because those peasants are badly hit by the crop failure, the pandemic as well as the epidemic. That is why they may not be able to pay back the revenue. So Gandhiji is organizing the Satyagraha movements, and he is siding with the peasants. He is supporting the peasants to get relaxations from paying the revenue. Then he is again going to Ahmedabad to organize the Satyagraha movements. So in Ahmedabad also we see the cotton mill worker. The cotton mill workers are facing lot of challenges here. And what is the challenges? The challenges is here the cotton mill owner, they are not at all willing to pay the high wages as well as the bonus. So when they are not given high wages and bonus, the cotton mill worker lives are becoming very painful here. So he is going to Ahmedabad in 1918 and successfully organizing the Satyagraha movements in Ahmedabad. He is supporting the cotton mill worker. He is organizing the Satyagraha movements, and he is siding with the peoples. He is supporting the peoples. He is supporting the peoples to fight against injustice. He is supporting the peoples to fight against the oppression. He is supporting the peoples to have justice in the society. He is supporting the peoples to have a justice as well as freedom in the society. So dear children, because of all these reasons, we understood that the Satyagraha movement was organized in various places in India. That is in Champaran in Bihar, in Kheda district of Gujarat, and also in Ahmedabad we see the cotton mill worker who are facing lot of challenges. So dear children, here in the Gandhian era, Gandhi's approach is entirely different. Already we see the 3 phases. We learn about the moderate phases. In moderate phases, the Congress leaders were having a very soft nature towards the Britishers, fighting only to change the system. They have a soft nature of approach. In the extreme phases, there was little energetic which happened by the peoples. So here, during the time of extreme phases, we see that the leaders of the Congress, they understood that the soft natures towards the Britisher will not do any good. So they changed their attitude towards the Britisher, and they started having a different kind of approach. So here in the Gandhian era between 1916 to 1947, here when Gandhiji came to India, he understood the ground reality of the peoples, organizing the Satyagraha movements, organizing the struggle movements, and he is fighting against the oppression, he is fighting against the injustice, he is siding with the peoples, giving them support to fight against the truth. So dear children, when Gandhiji is organizing Satyagraha movements in various places in India, during that time, the Britishers, they understood that if they are not going to stop all these political as well as the freedom movements, then they are going to face lot of challenges. So in order to stop these Satyagraha movements, we see the Roller Act has been developed here. So the Roller Act had been developed here in order to stop the Satyagraha movements which was organized by Gandhiji. And in order to stop the Satyagraha movements, the Britishers as well as the imperial legislative, they executed the Roller Act. And according to Roller Act, the government is having enormous power to stop the political movements, and they have more power to repress the political parties, and whoever is involving in the Satyagraha movements, they will be taken into jail and they will be detained for 2 years. So dear children, here in this topic we understood what is called Satyagraha and what is the idea of Satyagraha. So we understood that Gandhiji, when he developed the Satyagraha movements, he inspired the peoples that it is only through Satyagraha movements we can win over the battle, we can win over the struggles, because we are having the truth here. And what is the truth? It is the struggle against the injustice, and without having any vengeance, without having any revenge, we can win over the battle. So my dear children, due to all this factor, due to the injustice which the Indian peoples are facing, and due to that factor, Gandhiji, he supported the peoples, organized the Satyagraha movements, siding with the peoples, and he successfully launched the Satyagraha movements in India. Thank you so much, my dear children, for listening to me.